Sorry, I love my job, buddy. You guys should be able to see me in there. This is a thermal imaging camera.
That's insane.
So why would we want a thermal imaging camera inside of a ghost hunt?
Cold spots.
Right, we're looking for cold spots, literally. So you should be able to see me, red, orange, and yellow guy. If you were a bridal party, that would mean I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. You're not a bridal party, but I still got chuckles, so that's good. I'm proving my point. We're looking for blue and black. We want them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. We're always going to have blue and black inside the frame. I'm looking for head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs, if you're getting my point. So I want actual figures in this guy. So this one is super cool because it actually is a FLIR. So this is what firemen would use to actually help save people. So it's a FLIR attachment for a cell phone, but as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. We're going to do a few starts and stops as we are with all cameras, because again, we don't want to be creating the Blair Witch Project out here, if you guys get my point. It's not even Saturday, guys, so it's just loud up here. The cool thing about the way I had the camera set up is that it actually has a blue dot bouncing around the screen. That blue dot is there to help guide your eye of when you guys get your video back. Tonight's temperature is about 71 degrees for us. I look for 15 plus degree temperature drops. We're working with thermal imaging at this point. So 15 plus degree temperature drops. So that blue dot, if it goes down, was at 56 degrees? Am I doing my math right? So if it goes down to 56 or below, we might actually have something going on inside the camera. Lots of fun with this guy. Does it capture something every single night? I never know. So with that said, I will tell you about 4 or 5 times a year, it's a holy cow moment. Look at this. So again, I'm just giving you guys the statistics of all these different devices. So with this one, I'm going to stop the video. Gary, I get that? Am I getting that right? Perfect. So I knew it was Gary and Dan. So.
Good. All right.
Nice slow motion.
I saw like 2
All right,
goats.
so.
3 goats.
What happened?
I saw 2 goats earlier today.
Did you?
And I think I'm already seeing 2 goats. She said, what's the name of the
Elijah.
Anything good, Gary?
No. All right.
Sure, my reading's higher over here because of the power lines.
I don't know. I think that there's some. I don't know. I just felt like there's something over here.
Sun over here?
Yeah.
I'm at 1.1. 1.7.
Natalie. Natalie.
I have not
Did you call them yet?
I'm starting to record.
Did you call them yet?
I haven't got called on the check.
But he was like, if it doesn't make any sense, just like turn it off and turn it back on. What is that? He turned this. What does that mean? Light touch. It's choosing a letter. It's like, oh, that's a letter. What is the letter? So C U.
Happy belated Mother's Day. God take care. Enjoy, love the kids.
Hey, buddy.
Skeleton. I see your skeleton.
Do you?
Crystal clear. The only thing I've heard was a commercial, and it was this dude singing.
With that camera, just so you know, I don't always follow up in real time because the screen is small. I put it up on YouTube and watch it on my computer. So yeah, the slower you move, the better. And you have 52. That was? I wrote it down. I wrote it down. You said it. So with this one, it's even like it's pretty high. So your baseline now is 400. So just anything from 25 at this point, and then of course we're just steady up 50. I think the baseline is falling down around bottom and everybody, and then back, we have a lot more. And then right back down again.
I thought that tweaker was a Spectre that came up. Did you see that guy?
You mean the entertainer?
Yeah. No, but I heard a commercial for Indigo.
So she's basically asking for your name. So just so you know, Greg, with your camera, I don't always follow up in real time because the camera's small. I put it up on YouTube so I can watch it on a computer screen, and that way I can see it much better. So if I'm not following up with you as much, I just told Katie the same thing because her camera's very small.
That's cool.
But yeah, that thing is super interesting to watch in real time and after the fact. So
I'm looking for the coldest spots around, right?
yep. Any blue, black moving around that shouldn't be, if that makes sense. Like your metal sign should be cold because we do have a breeze. Windshield should definitely be cold because it's glass. You get the point. You've probably already seen it. Any numbers coming out of you, Dan?
The only one that I got is 2.9 over here.
Still take a 2.9.
2.9.
Yeah, it was super brief. It was around this time.
What's funny is you had a 2.9 in this location, and Charlotte had a 52.9 in this location.
Holy cows!
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what does this do?
You don't need to worry about those. That you're going to change the app if you start hitting that stuff. You don't want to do that. Just leave it right where it is and just point it around nice and slow. So that way I can watch it later and see if they have any ghosts.
Yeah, well, so is the weighted?
Are you tracking
what's the
anything?
difference in the weighted?
That's what I've been trying to say.
You?
Okay. So
No.
I've been flipping back and forth.
Do you
to see if
try
there's a
saying
difference.
hello?
But generally speaking, they come across the same.
I want to say from the little bit I read, I did do a buy when I first got it because I haven't had it for very long.
Yeah.
I want to say that the weighted. I'm not like,
Okay.
so that makes sense.
Did you just track something?
Right.
Here.
I think you just tracked something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, did you just track something?
So there is. Oh, perfect. I was just about to come find you. I was like, where's Sarah? So, what have you heard so far?
I heard 80 right loud and clear.
I got nothing on.
Cool. So do you find asking like questions helps or listening?
Either way, some people might come to this and others don't see it. So it's okay to focus on things. So
Why is
same
it
thing
really
like
rough?
what I kind of explained to Natalie. Something is we're all asking questions. We don't know what's in it. That's why I like to show me. Is that that's fine. You guys all have something. You could be asking a question. It could show up right in the audience. Oh boy.
So far, I have nothing.
I like to do this, especially when I do something like this.
Oh God! Oh God! Jesus! Dude. Hey,
Get
he said
out of
be,
my
He
house.
said be respectful.
Don't want to discredit his trade.
Collaborate here and see what we got live. No, I didn't get a really. You got
All I
anything else
tracked
on
was
here?
free
I'm
ghosts.
still listening.
That's all I found. Free ghosts. Earlier. All I had to check. Buddy, you gotta keep filming.
All right. So, any other spirit box stuff that was heard from the last time that I spoke with you?
Arthritis. And she had and I have arthritis, which is just interesting because I heard an ad about it. But it might have just been
Arthritis? Anybody else get anything?
Just got, since I walked into you, over and slam.
Slam?
Over before that.
Somebody else heard open.
Yeah.
So
That was not me.
that's very interesting. We did get all the way up to a 52.9, I believe it was, on the EMF. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm sorry, was it 50? I actually wrote down 59.2. Is that right? I wrote it down. 52.9. I tried to write down those high EMFs as soon as they happened. So I'm pretty excited about that. The word indigo was heard several
that's
times.
great.
So again, that's not a term we normally hear on the radio.
No.
So the fact that you heard it,
He was
as
like
much as you
describing
did-
a product, like the color of a product, and it was out really quick.
Wow. Interesting. So some of you with the EMF detectors have all reported that you've seen a spike and then it went right back down to a very low spike. So that's the way ghost hunting works. They don't stand still. That was somebody basically breezing right by you and just making things spike up. That's kind of how that goes. I will also tell you that the phrase "nobody knows you" was also heard, which means you guys didn't introduce yourselves. So normally, like I explained to the three young ladies over here, normally with my smaller groups, I will introduce like, hey, this is Katie, Allison, and Charlotte. We're going to have a chat with you, Eliza. Can you please give us some answers? Again, when I have 12 people like this, you can't always do that. I also, for some of you that, this will be a repeat, but this is why I like to use so many different communication devices. You guys could be asking a question, that answer can go somewhere else. So we're using all communication devices tonight, so that's all spirit boxes, wordless, Ouija boards, not to mention the 3 cameras, plus my voice recorder. You guys could be asking a question, the answer can be coming to me. We don't know where it's going to land. Your TV shows suck. Why? Because they only show you one device at a time, and they're trying to play with one spirit box. This way, you're going to get everything from all of the notes, and especially from the device that Sarah has. I take special note of that because that one specifically is about 75% accurate. That is the most accurate spirit box I've ever had the pleasure of working with. So it is a lot of fun. Now, I said for some of you guys, like the word slam, I'm like, I don't know what it is, or that's a stretch, or you guys get my point. With that one, it's usually right on point, about 75%. So let's kind of cover the answers and show you guys what we're looking for. So those of you with cameras, if you want to stop your camera, give your normal. So, Eliza's death. Who had those questions, by the way? I'm trying to remember who had them.
Oh, I did.
So you had, all right, perfect. So she was 70 years old when she passed away in 1793. First, I'll point out for you youngsters in the group that that's a long time for a woman to be alive during colonial times. So she was going to Philadelphia, getting treatments. Whatever they thought she had, it turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what the hell breast cancer was in 1793. We're going based off her medical records. She died in Philadelphia. She's buried in Philadelphia. That should raise two questions in the back of your brain. First one is Baby George. If my theory is true, they would have transported him in his tomb from here all the way to Philadelphia by horse and carriage. Some of you are old enough to remember the game Oregon Trail. Somebody's going to get dysentery. So that's a long trek. The other piece is, if Eliza's up in Philadelphia, why are we here trying to investigate this? I don't take you to actual cemeteries, guys. I'm just going to put that out there. I know the name of the tour is called Stories in the Cemetery. It's minimal activity at best. I do this 7 nights a week. People don't hang out near their headstones. They go to their mansions 400 miles away, which is exactly why I bring you to empty parking lots to investigate. Did we have like super great evidence coming through out of tonight? Not necessarily. The most exciting thing to me was the 52.9 EMF reading that we had. It just doesn't mean that you guys just miss things in real time. That's perfectly fine. Who wants to take a guess who the president was that was the pallbearer at the funeral? Sully. If he gives me the right answers.
He's not.
He might.
George Washington.
He gave us the right answer.
Nice. Nice, Sully.
Sully.
Good job, buddy.
Here's the funny thing. He just proved my point. When we got over here, I told y'all I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose every single night, subliminally putting George Washington in the back of all of your brains to see who's going to give it back to me. Notice that was the only question I asked for back. And it was Washington at his own request, which, by the way, the rest of you passed with a fail. So that was a kudos to you. Normally, if it's a person with a spirit box, I literally take that person's spirit box and give it to somebody else. Just because I don't want that person just repeating the same stuff I've already told them. You got to get my point. But at his own request, Eliza's Indigo helped get our country started. It was an honor for him to be there. So it was, and not to mention, he only had 13 governors, and all the Pinckney men were politicians. It's not like he didn't know his 13 governors. So kind of put that in perspective. So, again, not to say that this one wasn't super exciting, but again, we never know what we're going to get out of here. So, again, you guys got the point of why we use so many different devices. The next place we're going to go to is an alley. So, we're not going to be recording any videos. So if you have a video camera, we're not recording until we get into the alley. Feel free to start them when we get in. Just be very mindful of where you point.
But this is going to be terrifying. I'm ghost out, bro.
This is Philadelphia alley.
Yeah, for real.
Do we have to record now, you think?
Yeah, buddy. They're looking for ghosts.
That's an old building.
Yeah, it is.
But we're still walking, so I'm pretty sure we don't have to record. Yeah.
Stop here. Everybody's going to circle around. All right. What have you heard along the way? Allie, you got anything? We'll start with you.
Just firefighters. Like four or 5 times.
Okay.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Anybody hear anything else? Isaac?
No.
Nothing on yours? Wordless? Candace?
I had, when you were talking about the fire, I had Ashland, and now I have shop, and I have visit.
Any letters?
I was
Okay,
from
get it right up in
college.
here. Who else has a spirit box?
I have horse and need and read.
You asked about when did you get need?
Right when I first started walking.
You heard pink flowers.
That
I
was
told you.
earlier. That
I'm
was
sorry.
earlier on.
Well, you were the one telling me. So you heard pink flowers, and you were asking me if that would be relative to pink knee, and I said I would be more excited if we had the word knees.
Oh my.
She has the word knee.
Oh, that was just a squirrel.
The lizard.
The lizard, yeah.
excited about that. So I told you, that's how that goes. EMF detectors. So we do have lampposts around us. So just kind of keep in mind, those will give off between 5 to 7 milligauss. So it's 7 is the new baseline for this location. So cameras, be very discreet. We do have another tour at the end of this. They're going to probably come up this way. What we'll do is we'll split the C's. I will stop talking and let them pass through. We all tell the same story down here. However, I give it to you a little bit differently because they're doing campfire marshmallow stories and we're ghost hunting. So kind of get my point. So this place used to be called, well, it's called Philadelphia Alley now. So this is named that because Philadelphia saved us from one of our many, many fires, and dueling became illegal. This used to be called Dueller's Alley. This is where the duels used to occur, at least some of them. So basically take 10 paces, turn and shoot kind of duels. Here's how the story goes. Again, you're going to get different details out of me. And by the way, I've also been kicked out of this alley. So we'll talk about that at the end because that's the fun part of the story. Alley's already cracking up over here. So Nick got in trouble. Ghost hunting. Imagine that. So here's how it goes. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you still listening to Spirit Boxes, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. So it is part of his name. Anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. By the way, cameras, if you want to go ahead and record it here, you can. Just be mindful when the other tourists come by. But Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. So the coachman that brought Dr. Ladd into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to take a stay here in Charleston. Somebody was walking by. Somebody that's lived here for a while. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop there because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. The letters R.I. were showing up on our regular spirit boxes all the time, which is exactly why I have the Ouija board device now. So I'm looking for R.I. specifically. It actually showed up here a few weeks ago. What do you have? I.T. So R.I. actually showed up as soon as I started mentioning this part of the history, just a few weeks ago, like it was on cue. So very specific. But anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. So, do we need any water or anything? Because there's a Scotchman nearby. Okay. Just want to make sure she's okay. But anyway, so he says, do you want to stay here? This guy's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room there and you'll be safe and good to go. Dr. Ladd took him up on the offer and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He wasn't after Amanda's money. So Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor because he's a pretty happy guy. This is the 1780s. Men whistled back then. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Every haunted city you will ever visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. There's proof of this one, and I'm going to get to it. Anyway, Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. They were walking home one night talking about Richard III and the new actress that was in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. They start arguing, but then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph, like I said, has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd saw the newspaper ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueller's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. So they came down. They took their 10 paces. By the way, this is all over an actor, so that started this whole argument. Took their 10 paces. They turned. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. But Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die, he drops to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd, 1786, after refusing medical treatment. You should remember that this guy's a doctor. Gunshot wounds in 1786 were a lot different than they are now. He probably tried to bleed out this bullet himself from the lead poisoning. So he just failed. He just died. So every tour, like I said, that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. Here's the thing about what you're doing with me. We have 3 video cameras, my voice recorder. You don't need to be listening for whistles in real time. Listen in the background. See if it's actually there. I will tell you that if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through the alley, I can't take you all the way to the end. I'll explain in a minute. Turn on your voice recorders and see if you get a whistle in the background. But keep in mind, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all do it. I do it every single night. So when I'm done with your data, my garage is down the road. I have to pass the alley to get to my car. So again, my office is that way, car's that way. You guys get the point. So just kind of keep in mind, all the locals know the history here. They also say you can hear gunshots down here. I've never had any proof of that, but I have had some whistles. Cool thing is, we're using every spirit box. The word whistle has come up. We've had whistling parts of songs show up on those kind of things. Which, by the way, before that air conditioner kicked on, this is how quiet it always is down here, even on a busy Saturday afternoon. Don't know how or why. Kind of creepy, but again, most picturesque place I think we have in Charleston. Here's how I got booted out of here. Here's the fun part that alley couldn't wait for. This alley didn't go all the way through that way, the way we came in. There was a wall halfway between us and Cumberland Street. That wall was there because this was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston, which means the bricks on the other side, all the way down at the end by Queen Street, are older than the bricks we're standing on. So those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, along with some fingerprint swipes and other bricks. I'm sure you guys all figured out I'm about history. I would always, when I first started doing this, I took my groups down that way. And I would always point out the handprint, because we all need to see it, no matter the diversity of my groups. However, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 decided that they were going to huddle around that brick and wait for something to happen. I treat that brick the exact same way I do a grave. If that kid's not there, it's the last place you're going to find him, as per the conversation we had along the way here. So, I'm also trying to be respectful because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. Yeah, I didn't know I was out of bounds. I'm not allowed to take people down there on a tour. So, the new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, right? So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. Some of you know I worked in retail management for well over 20 years. I don't do Thanksgiving anymore. You guys get the point. Most of those years were with Walmart, so you can feel my pain. Now, the next day, the dates are important. November 28th. I called my partner up that I had at the time that was kind of showing me the ropes in tourism, and I told him what happened. He said, you can't go down that far. You have to go down halfway or reroute the group. So I decided I'm going to reroute the group. But what I told them was I don't believe in the next story. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So I told, before we left, somebody heard a name on a spirit box. That name was Anne. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I was like, okay. We get up there, I told them what little bit I did know about pirates in Charleston, and somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time. So I write it down, I research it the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720, the exact 300-year anniversary. So I've been taking you guys back up there ever since, and I've read more damn books on piracy than I ever wanted to in my entire life, because I wanted to make sure that pirate lore was not becoming pirate investigation. I wanted to make sure everything we're going to be discussing came from a minimum of 2 resources. I still read things on pirates just to make sure what I'm telling you is correct. So, there's a lot of things that I can't prove at that location. Alas, it is a great story. We're talking about a kick-ass female pirate once we get up there. But hopefully we're going to get the bleed over from this location over there as well. That does happen. So we're going to actually let this group kind of pass through us. Watch your cameras. Thanks, Greg.
It's Gary, by the way.
Gary. Oh my God.
You're okay.
How many times did I call you Greg?
Twice.
It did. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for correcting me, by the way.
You're
I
okay.
appreciate it.
No problem.
I accidentally flipped the switch on this thing. How do you set it? Right.
It's recording. No. We do not need to give Nick another chance. Anything being heard or said, like, you guys got anything weird going on down here before we leave the space? Did you hear anything while I was going in?
No, I didn't.
Isaac, did you hear anything?
No, just static.
Just static. Anybody else get anything? Readings? Anything I need to know about?
Nothing.
I kept catching the tail end too. I'm not hearing any voices.
What kind of ticket you get? Trespassing?
It'll be against my business, and they could take away my business license to take you guys out on investigations. So if I get too many complaints, that's kind of how that goes. Luckily, it was just kind of a fair warning. There was a phone call made, I will say that. So that's how that goes. But yeah, we're going to actually head over and go around to the powder magazine. If nobody heard anything specific, do we have any words showing up?
English correspondent is on for the
Okay, that's interesting.
warrior just now. There were a couple before that too.
Yeah, you can hit that little white box on the right.
What is she saying?
I would tell you that math is probably the most prominent.
See you did.
You.
We get a lot of
You'll let it try to go pull all up. And then when you first got here, mother, telescope transfer shot apart.
shot.
Shot. Fear, love, feeling, and then stomach. You started talking about Charles way back there. I was wondering what you were talking about.
Crazy.
Yeah. Any letters you want? All right, let's go learn about crazy pirates. Let's do this. We're going to actually go out this way.
Anybody there? Is
I
anybody
think that's
there?
George Washington's soul.
Yeah, you did good there, buddy. In my hand, Dan.
I'm trying to think of like AIM toothpaste or some other jingles that I remember.
But my feet are breaking down. That's what my feet are doing. We walk so much that my feet are breaking down into pieces. That's what my bones are doing in my foot. But we still have a lot of places, right? We're still having a lot of places to track, right?
Oh, I'm cool. I'm cool. Somebody still have a drink? No? Sully was looking for something.
What's left of it?
Gonna trade?
Yeah.
Thanks.
What do you got?
Look at the sun.
He's not doing bad considering he's 6.
Yeah. He was very excited. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, static and I'll catch like the end of the food.
Thanks. Anything else coming out of yours? Anybody else got anything? Candace, what was it?
Summer actress.
Fair trade. I just got fair trade. The
That's
first one
all
I
you
heard
got?
Fair
Of course,
trade.
we're talking about pirates too. So,
Isaac, did you get anything?
English, summer, and actress.
actress is good because remember that Dr. Ladd and Ralph
my
Isaacs
gosh.
argued about the
Did you
actress.
get anything there?
This is why you guys
Nobody, I
keep me
haven't really
around.
been getting much.
I didn't get anything.
I don't have
All I
to
got
write
was
them down,
free
but,
things.
with
Was
yours,
free
your
ghosts.
train goes under this location.
Playing on the
So
car.
bring us to this back area because the other tours like to cut through here. And again, they're stopping to tell you about the little tiny building and they move on. I'm going to tell you why we're here, which is part of that tiny little building over there. So it's the Gunpowder Magazine. It's a museum now. So if you ever need a $5 30-minute tour of different wars and whatnot, it's a great place to be. But those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what earthquake bolts are, they're basically turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned earlier, which we haven't, you can turn the turnbuckles on either side and it's supposed to tighten the building up so it doesn't incur any further damage. It it's a great idea, it just doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town in the form of Charleston Charm. Even the apartment building behind it actually has earthquake bolts on both sides of it, so they actually almost crisscross over top of each other. So the reason I bring those ones up, it's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. That's why we're here. That building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. You guys have seen the TV shows where they use a teddy bear to attract a child ghost, and it's because it's something familiar. Same principle. We don't have many buildings this old. We have a handful, but this is the oldest government building. So here's how this one goes. The building took 10 years to build, by the way. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? Hopefully, I actually pissed off a CIA agent one night. Came on my tour, and he's like, you know I work for the government. I'm like, well, what branch? He's like, the CIA. I'm like, oh, shit.
I was allowed to tell you that.
Yeah. He thought he would have told me that earlier. So, but anyway, so our story actually begins right in the middle of its construction. So kind of follow me. There's a few weird piratey twists that go along with this. The young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Okay, good. Head nods is good. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that they had to leave the country by boat to land here? Just pointing that out. So fellas, if you brought your ladies here, treat them well. They'll kick you out of the country. Anyway, back to Anne and her father. They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat, hence the familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was a badass even back then. They say when she was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is ever exact with pirates, that she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So we have gotten the term servant, knife, and belly from 3 different devices all in the same evening before, so take that for what it's worth. Now, fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world. First guy she falls in love with. I said first because there's a handful, and we're going to go through them all. So, because it's a funny story. Anyway, the first guy's James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name comes from. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British, a coward. This is not the guy. So, a few years later, she falls in love. This is John Rackham. They call him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you're wondering who this guy actually is. He has his own crew, he has his own ship. You can't put a female on a pirate ship because they're bad luck. I normally ask you guys that question, but we have youngins involved tonight. We don't need any disruptive answers, because I'm sure some of those things go out there. Cindy's like, yeah, I know where you're going. I see that look. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of the ship. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. She's a pirate now, but she's a female in his quarters. Most of us are adults. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So then he drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show that she's pregnant. Have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. She has a baby, returns with no child. I have no idea what happened to this child. I've read more books on pirates, like I said, still can't find an answer. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. Now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the crew, and he's not going to be captain anymore. But while she was gone giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting to make him even more mad. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same pirate ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British found out where they are, and they send a fleet of ships. Anne and Mary, rumor is that they were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. That's not going to work out very well. They don't know how to use cannons yet. Obviously, they get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, Jack, I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up a lot, just so you know, Spirit Box team. So, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front, reveal their gender, trying to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Again, very abrupt ending. We don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Read dies a few months later in April of 1721 from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I say bullshit. It's probably scabious. So kind of use your imagination and make it romantic. Why the hell not? We're talking pirates. Now, I only left out a few questions for you Spirit Box team. I can tell you guys are eager to get to work, which is why I kind of rushed through that one. Isaac's falling asleep on me, so we got to get him moving. So, a couple of things. You guys know what to do with questions, but I'm not going to assign anything. Ask whatever you want to. This is not a prominent English woman. Here are things I left out. The names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship on purpose. I left out the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland on purpose, and the color of her hair, which you guys should already guess that it's red. So again, if you want a nice simple answer, go after that one. Everything else is fair game. We've only got 2 cards in here. I will tell you what the biggest orb I've ever caught with Katy's camera has been over by that wall. We do not get high EMF in this location. If we do, I get excited. When I say high, anything over 3 is high in this location. The closer you get to those corners up there, just 3 EMF, there's electrical poles up there. Don't get stoked. I'm more excited about what comes out of this backpack. So, again, we're going to have some fun in this location. Lots of room to spread out. Just be mindful of the other tours that are going to be passing through. I'll be bouncing around with everybody. Let's do this. We gotta get Sully back to work too. What do you got for him?
My ankles are breaking down into pieces right now. We walk too much. That my ankles are breaking down.
We're almost done.
Imagine.
Are your ankles breaking down?
My ankles are like pieces of broken glass.
That's what
Right now.
mine are like. We walk too much. But guys, this is literally this is a haunted building. What about Iron Man's just win? It's like.
Hey, Sully. Finish that up. This is all we got. You done?
I'm done. It doesn't taste good. Does it taste good?
It's fine.
I can't do this anymore. I need to take a few deep breaths. I'm taking a break
Okay, buddy.
because I can't do this anymore.
Okay.
My legs are breaking down.
Go sit down.
Homie's clowning me, bro.
Yeah.
You like that?
Mm-hmm. He told me to keep a person in the line.
percent?
Yeah,
Is that what you can see there's a color difference?
yeah.
All we got from Sarah was one meep. Like, you know what we got from Sarah? Meep. Like an anchovy from SpongeBob. Like, we asked that, what is his name? And all he said was, my name, he said, Meep.
Hmm.
That's really his name, Meep.
That's pretty weird, bud.
That's so weird. Why is the ghost name?
I don't know. So he's sitting down in the middle of the parking lot.
Huh?
So he's sitting down in the middle of the parking lot. You don't want to talk here tonight?
What's your name? Speak to me. Do these hurricane things actually work, Dukes? No. Definitely do not. How in the world is that supposed to fortify a building from an earthquake? I mean, there must be water they could shoot, because they gotta be bolted in on the inside. I mean, shoot, man. I don't even know, like, what the other side of that looks like. Is it just a little washer and mud? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's kind of stay on there, you know? I have no idea. Drill through the hole. Like, see, like that makes sense, because, like, I'm guessing there's, like, support beams, you know what I mean? Those squares, like, they're inside actually supporting the structure.
Always take note of when things come out of that.
This is original, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is right here, or this building?
This little building right here.
So what's the question? I see you guys doing a lot of pointing.
Yeah, we were just confirming which building. It was this building that's the original one.
Yeah. So this one. So Gary, if you look right here, do you see where the brick kind of changes?
Yep.
And it looks like it's
Yep.
an archway. So
Yep.
this was kind of a textile, a merchant, all kinds of different things in between the wars. So this was like a storage room. And I want to say that the powder magazine still has access to the lower floor for storage, so that way they can swap out the uniforms and stuff. But yeah, the rest of it's an apartment building.
Pretty awesome.
Tighteners, the house tighteners.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all over the place. You guys have seen them as pineapples and lion heads. It's just part of the Charleston charm.
Yeah.
So
They hide in the decoration and stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Is it the same situation here with these square blocks?
Yeah, so you see like how that one over there, like they're almost going to crisscross through each other.
Yeah.
So again, it's a weird architectural piece, but we still put them in buildings.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't work. Every Californian laughs their ass off at me every time I bring these up. They're like, "That don't work. We haven't done that for like 100 years." Yeah, I know.
Maybe that's what makes it Charleston.
Yeah, it's again, it's just part of the charm.
Yeah.
Ladies, you got anything going on?
Still says costume.
Still on costume.
We were just talking about how it felt extremely like void of energy where we were, and then it jumped up to 2, which is low, but it
low.
was like right when we were saying that it felt like there was nothing, like in the air felt empty of energy, and then it spiked.
Kind of like just sucked out, huh?
Yeah.
It is interesting that you got a small spike.
I just heard boys in blue.
Somebody else heard the
blue.
Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
So, interesting. All right, let's head over towards the wall.
So I got science.
Where those here? That's an interesting. It's interesting in one of 2 ways. I would need something else to try to verify it. But
That's interesting now that you were able to pull that.
You see there, Isaac? See a ghost?
Nah, just an old building. I was thinking maybe we'd see some ghosts.
Yeah.
Did you hear me tell him?
Those are gold.
Huh?
Those are gold.
Besides old.
Those are gold, yeah.
You didn't get it. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? That's the fact that 2 versions of
Pretty light on it, right, bro?
I don't know.
You see that?
Yeah.
It's like as high up in the building as you could get, because the other light, the other window should be lit up underneath it.
There's shit lit.
Yeah.
They don't hang at their grave sites.
Are you filming?
Yeah, they don't hang at the grave sites. They go to where they lived.
They go wherever they're happiest.
Yeah, wherever they lived. That's what he said.
They're not going to live where they die.
Right. Cindy, you're the slowest walker. Let's you keep walking, please. They're way up there, baby.
All right, thanks.
Somebody needs a toilet.
Please give me a little boost, man. Yeah.
Oh.
Both of you. You don't have to do anything.
This is Washington Park.
It's out right now.
Yeah.
Real creeped out.
just sit down.
Guys, I have no idea what to expect. This is my new space. I change this up every year. This space out, I add a new one. I experiment with the groups in November. After Halloween is when I get started on search for a new space. The Picnic Mansion site was when I was looking to retire, but it didn't happen that way. So I just keep getting too much activity out of it. As long as my team is respectful, I'm going to keep going back. But this is the new space, which means I don't know a whole lot. But the first time we came here, I had 2 days with me.
I guess I didn't really track much stuff today. What?
You did good. You did a really good day today.
I was using the word list. The CANDACE issue is
It doesn't really matter if you get any ghosts or not.
Just if you had fun.
The bus behind me is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. Oh, holy shit, there's my ghost. So, yeah, very specific. So here's how
Well,
this
some
history goes.
games
It's
you
very
have
simple
to
and
win,
short.
right?
And you sit.
And this is not in the game. Anyway, this is a sniper rifle. Attach ghosts, right?
Yeah. I haven't caught it.
So is a sniper rifle? Do you shoot something?
Well, it's infrared, so it tells you what's hot and what's cold. It tells you what's human.
And
See the bright guys? They're all human because they all give off heat. See how those?
And the blue and black ones are ghosts?
Well, the black, yeah, the darker stuff is cold. So like the grass, see how the grass is blue? That's cold.
Yeah.
And then you see the people, and then they're yellow. So you point it down to the ground. The ground's pretty warm too. The ground's 78 degrees. Pretty warm, huh?
Midnight.
So many times it rings. That's 3. Should ring 11 times. 4.
That blood stain looks like a man writing.
5.
So it's kind of a creepy thought. He died right on the tube.
6.
Yeah. They only show this book 1 day a year at the Charleston Library Society. Call it the Blood Book. They show it on Halloween. You have to be a member of the society to see the book in real life. But the interesting
It only goes up to 10.
9. Should go to 11. 10.
All kinds of like what's going on over there. I'm hearing like owl sounds and all kinds of stuff. The interesting thing about this page I'm about to show you, it tells the whole story.
That means it's midnight.
That means it's 11 o'clock. Another hour to people know.
Creepy way to end the night, right?
Why are there people up there?
I knew I'd heard this story before, but I couldn't
ringing
at
the
the
bell?
Charleston Library Society on
What do you mean? People say.
Nobody's
I
talking
saw some
about
people up there earlier.
right in the back. So when the tourists come in here,
Yeah, some
they go to
black
the back
people.
and talk about that Confederate work.
Or those might be stuff there, but they're standing still.
So, yeah,
Still as that.
oh, this is what I dive into, so you guys are getting it. You guys ready to go?
They're not even moving.
This is a lot of fun.
I think but they're still there. Standing like,
Grammar, right?
Yeah.
I guess there's just sculptures looking at people.
Gary,
Yes.
you gonna go or no?
Where are we going?
Over to the guy. Over to Noah.
Okay, come on.
Where are we going?
Over here.
I mean, you're going back home?
In a little bit, probably. A little bit. We're almost done here.
You've been really good, Sally.
Yeah, good
I
job.
haven't catch any ghosts yet.
It's okay.
I want to catch
We're going to make a pretty tight circle. So again, if other tourists start to come through here, we can, hide you guys. A couple of things. So, who's going to be the person that's going to control their volume and put their headset on? I need to cover a couple of things while you guys decide who's going to do it. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on your breathing. So that's going to be a big deal. If you start to get really like almost heaving and hyperventilating, somebody is going to tap you on your leg to pull you out. That's also going to be the same signal to pull you out when we're done. I'm only going to keep you under for 10 minutes. So I say under is because this can get very disorienting. So kind of keep that in mind. You will tell us everything that you hear. And it is okay to answer yes, no answers at this point because you don't know what I'm asking. I might be asking our ghost a yes, no question. And I will specify to that ghost it's okay to answer yes, no. Of course. I also want you to know, we can hear you. You don't need to shout. Most people put earbuds in and we crank up the volume on them and they want to yell at us and tell us the answers. There's neighbors. Whisper. We can hear you. We're also going to be filming the entire thing with hopefully all 3 cameras pretty close, so you guys can see the footage of this later on. I want you guys all to know I am not going to be writing anything down because sometimes I do things in real time based on what's going on around us or something that somebody else may have heard on another spirit box. If you have a spirit box or communication device, by all means, I want you paying attention. Sometimes the answers go there. So, with all of that, any major questions before we get into it? I know you're like ready to do this, man.
I'm ready to hop in.
All right, so it's blindfolds first, then earbuds, and then your family member or friend will help you put your headset on. So,
We rolling? We rolling? We rolling?
so the headset very tight. So she'll adjust it. Just put it over top of her head when she's ready.
I think I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, so wait, should I put the other earbud
Both
in?
earbuds in, yes. Both.
Yeah, I got it.
Pull that thing apart. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got it. She'll pull it down.
Close your mouth, Noah.
Don't fall asleep.
Take the spirit box from her hand so we know she's not messing with it. And you're going to control the volume, which is right here to the wheel. So let's give her a little bit. See if she says too loud. She can't hear you, so she's going to have to tell us it's too loud. Oh, you're really cranking it up on it. Did you figure out the volume over there?
I did not.
It's the wheel at the top.
Okay.
All the way up?
It's all the way.
Okay, set it next to her.
That's good, that's good.
Set it next to her.
This is very on brand for her.
It's a little too loud.
Stay right there. It is 11:04, so once he's got a good volume, set the device next to him.
I'm guessing I gotta be able to hear him.
No,
No.
I don't want him to hear me.
Turn it down. Turn it down, turn it down.
Tell him that he doesn't need to hear anything except what he should.
I don't want you to hear anything.
Oh yeah, do you
A little bit.
And crank it up. We don't want him to hear
You
anything.
might need to take that out.
I can't hear too low. I can hear the volume. I can hear the radio, but I can't hear like, any of you guys.
Okay, that's perfect then. All right, so back to timing. It is 11:05. I usually give them a few seconds to get acclimated before we start asking questions. Those of you with cameras, please keep them rolling. We are looking to speak with Henry Timrod. If you are here, I want you to tell us what your occupation is, please. Henry, I brought a lot of folks here with me tonight, and I know you don't like big crowds. But if you can tell us anything that you want us to know, starting with your occupation, I would be very grateful. They do know they're supposed to talk, right?
I'm not sure.
I'll make no promises for Allison.
Well, let's lift up her earmuff and tell her that she's supposed to talk to us. Let's do the same thing to...
What?
You know you're supposed to speak, right?
What?
You know you're supposed to speak if you hear anything at all.
I can't hear a thing.
I'll just say something.
Yep.
Oh, I just heard a bunch of like staticky.
Okay.
But like if you hear, okay, but it's also like, is it too loud? It's too loud. You're like blasting my ears. I didn't know. It's like blasting my eardrums, Katie. Going deaf, man.
Turn it up a little bit.
Okay, am I supposed to? Okay, I just have to say something.
Just tell us what you hear.
Okay.
You got it?
A lot of it's just really staticky, to be honest.
Well, if you can make anything.
Okay.
We're going downtown.
Going downtown? All right, back on track
Going
again.
downtown is what I just heard.
He said we're going downtown.
Going downtown. So we are downtown, Henry. Are you from here? Can you tell us if you're from Charleston? That's a yes/no question. Are you from here?
No. Sort of no.
He is from here. He's a native, just so you guys know. So that answer is incorrect. Henry?
Serenity?
Henry Timrod, please tell us what your occupation is.
Moving fast.
We're going too fast? Let's start off with another slow question. Can you tell us what sound we normally hear out of St.
People
Michael's
that
Church?
something.
What sound do we normally get out of the church? watch the Ouija board device, we'll often get the spelling of that word here.
Going home. We're going home.
Home in downtown. Where was home?
Loverson.
Do we actually have Henry Timrod here, or are we talking to someone else? Give us a clue as to who you are if you're not Henry Timrod. Henry Timrod, how many people are here with you tonight? The number is usually 5. That's usually a common answer we'll get out of that.
Suspicions.
What are your suspicions? We need specific details, Henry. You're not giving us anything. Oh. We have the word sick and the word blood, everybody. That showed up on the word list.
So we're gonna give.
What's happening? Baby?
Nothing, baby.
Not much.
I'm not who I am anymore.
She's not feeling good.
You okay, Sam?
She felt like she got kidnapped by somebody, but I'm
When she got, it's not her fault. She was standing, and she's like, I can't see. Something's wrong with me, and she had to bolt away.
Really, Sin?
And no,
Wasn't a very good feeling.
It's a very. There was a lot of stuff that you. I don't think he was saying like you were like no. He said this is your last chance.
There was no static. There was nothing except static, but I'd catch tail ends and like short words. No. I think one that was really clear was like we're out of time.
Yeah.
Like, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
I don't got time or something.
And his comment, moving, you're right, Henry, we're not.
Maybe I'm just tired.
He said moving fast, yeah. And he took that to me.
Did you take hundreds of pictures for us?
I took some.
That is crazy. Was he asking like rapid fire?
She's not feeling good.